Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 28 of the 100-day project. Now, I have been, of course, brainstorming ideas for different videos, and one of the things I wanted to show at some point was using, an upholstery sample like so to as a journal cover, because of course it would be very cute and tactile and 6 inches by roughly 5 inches. So I guess it seemed like maybe there's a step before that video, and so that's what this is about. Today I started taking apart a new bundle, or whatever they're called, sample book, I guess, of upholstery samples. I should plug in this iron and let it heat up while I'm talking. Oops. I should have read the instructions to see. I guess 3 is probably hotter than 1. I don't know if that's going to be good or not. But so okay, let me start again. If you're lucky enough to ever find an upholstery sample book, grab it. I have been lucky, and I do have in my Etsy shop upholstery fabric bundles, and they came from variety of books and variety of sizes. I took them all apart and basically bundled them, so they're a variety of sizes. However, the more recent acquisition are these that I think maybe are even more desirable. 10.5 by 6.25 roughly. So I, using sheer brute force, took apart the cardboard cover, removed the plastic little thing that protects the top sample, and then was faced with some very heavy-duty staples and these sort of cardboard spacers, or maybe they help give rigidity to the whole book. Anyway, I then involved my husband because I thought, there has to be a better way. What I initially started doing, and that's why some of these are shorter than others, is I began cutting them away. And I suppose that's fine, but this is better. Like those 2 little sets of holes, or those 2 sets of tiny holes, can easily be disguised, and the piece ends up slightly longer. Now, of course, I'm not throwing away these, these little strips either. I'll find a way to use them. Now, one thing that I did when I put those first bundles together is I thought, well, it's going to be a lot more usable to people if these paper backing things with the fabric name, fabric content, and all of that was removed. But that's a miserable process. Now, I guess if you're a person who likes picking at things and have, the foreseeable future of your life lying ahead of you and the time to fiddle with that, then great. And hey, I'm a picker with the best of them, but the results were not that great. So I don't know where to put things anymore. In a previous small sample book that I took apart, which is this one, I looked at the fabric content labels. Okay, this is what the back looks like, and I'll tell you how I did this. And naturally, they need cleaning up with probably pinking shears. Okay, so if the content was anything other than, say, silk a care label that said dry clean. Would you believe that I soaked these? And it was messy. And of course, there is still some residue, but again, much more workable than something like this. So then I thought, well, that was a slow process because number one, it had to be soaked. Then there was all this sludge in the water as the paper kind of, disintegrated and whatever, plus all this cleanup yet to be done. And depending and then of course I had to flatten out the fabric. I haven't ironed it though. So then there are ones like this that are dry clean. Oh, this one is rayon, polyester, and silk. So that, these were kind of left intact, not knowing what I was going to do with those. And then on something like this, which is a, what would you call this? It's kind of like a plush. You can see that there was some damage created where some of this flocking came off. Now, I'm not bothered by that because it's tone on tone. It looks like, oh, look at the wonderful texture she arrived at. So I don't have an issue with this whatsoever. So back to what I started doing today. And I thought, okay, why don't I try steaming off a label? So here's, okay, let me not get too confused. This was out of today's bundle, this was the top one, and they always do it a little bit shorter. Okay, so with this one, I filled my electric kettle and steamed it. So this is what I got off. So you can see it was originally up to here. This is what I got off using the steam kettle. Now, of course, back in the day, kettles were electric, or before they were electric. No, that's not right. Okay, two things. Kettles were either stovetop kettles where you put it on a burner and it continued steaming as long as the burner was still turned on. Then there were electric kettles that did not have an automatic shutoff. And so even though it was plugged in, it could boil and boil and boil and boil until it boiled dry and probably wrecked the kettle. And now, of course, kettles have automatic shutoffs, which means you barely get the thing you're trying to steam, sort of warmed up and the thing is cutting out. So that's not a very effective thing. Plus, there's also a pretty good chance of scalding yourself if you're not careful. And again, still not very good results. So what I am trying instead, that's the old lick your finger, don't try this at home, kids. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot? I should have brought something to use as a pressing cloth. Just a minute, I think I see some. I'm thinking that's parchment paper, so maybe that will do the trick. Okay, so this is live and unrehearsed. What I'm going to do, and I'm working on the wrong side, is to try to heat this up and see if that will, warm the glue and have it release more easily, more effectively than the steaming method did. Now, if a person, where's my little doohickey? Here's my, that didn't seem to do anything. Oh my goodness, is this gonna, oh, maybe. But again, that's picking. Let's try a little more. And maybe rather than moving it, I should kind of hold still. But again, a pretty slow process. And this is just a, this is a travel iron. I think I did do a video, or maybe it was part of a haul video where I showed this. It's a Charles Craft. It has a lovely red plaid case. I didn't even bother firing up my little craft iron because I'm thinking that really would take forever. Okay, so with a bit more time and heat, and probably, you know, I of course have improvised on my desk surface here with this hand towel that is folded up here. Okay, that's not too bad, I suppose. But again, pretty painstaking. I guess the other advantage over the steaming is that if a fabric does not like to be wet, you know, kettle steam is wet. It does make the fabric a bit, you know, it makes it damp. So this really is, okay, let's try one other thing. Let's try it with applying the heat to the other side. And I hope that you find this only marginally more interesting than watching grass grow or paint dry. You'll never guess what I saw today. I saw a video of a woman ironing. Well, not actually ironing. She was mostly just holding the iron in place. It was so exciting. That's what spreads. That's what makes videos popular. Word of mouth. And for those of you out there who hate ironing at the best of time, don't even iron your clothing, or try to find ways to avoid ironing your clothing, this really is probably not that appealing an idea. Oh, see that? Maybe that's a little bit better. So it combines, it speeds up the process, it doesn't make the fabric wet, and it gives something for the pickers among us to do. So I'm obviously not going to keep going at this much longer. I think that if, oh, and I guess what I intend to do, because of course I'm taping ahead, what I intend to do is have more bundles put together, and in my Etsy, it will be easier to package and ship them because they'll all be a uniform size. So there's that. And I will say right now that I'm not going to be removing these things for people because, you know, time is precious. And that's a lot to do. I don't know how many pieces will be in a bundle, but it will be easier for the buyer to just remove them as they use them at home one by one rather than tackling a pile like this. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to try, oh, So why is this? Okay, so sometimes maybe you can get a big piece off just by sheer luck. The other thing I wanted to try is my heat gun. Now, I am sitting at an old oak, you know, sort of like a teacher's desk. So it's double pedestal, knee hole, multiple drawers, blah, blah, blah. So I, using a command strip, put up a hook that will hold several pounds, maybe 3, in the knee hole, and that's where I'm hanging this this heat gun. So I thought that was kind of clever, because my first inclination was to, you know, get a drill, drill a little pilot hole, and then screw in a cup hook. But frankly, something that didn't need a drill and making holes sounds better to me. Now, this is going to be noisy. I will try it in a new area that hasn't received any heat, and we'll see if this makes a difference. So you might want to turn the volume down or... see if that did anything. I'm sure that, you know, that heat is a lot more intense. Maybe not, than the iron. By the way, this thing that I seem to be reaching for almost daily, I call it a spatula. I don't know how, I don't remember what they called it in the store. Okay, so that came away kind of cleanly, but let's keep going. Anyway, I started to say this little thing is pretty useful. Like I have, you know, obviously a pokey tool that I could have tried or something else. But the beauty of this is that it's you know, it's less likely to snag or catch, and it has a bigger, it covers a bigger area. So let's add a little more heat and see if we can get better results. Sorry for the bumping. And you probably can't judge from your angle, but I was really close. I was like maybe ½ an inch from the surface. Whoops. Oh, this thing gets hot, guys. And it also bent a little. So I think if I see another one in the... I think it was Dollar Tree. If I see another one, I will buy a spare, because I can't afford to have this thing break or... This, I thought this was going to be the cat's meow, but it does such a small area. I think another option, and maybe that would be the subject of the next video. Well, let me keep ironing while I'm talking. Oh. I was just going to say that maybe what I will do in the next video is pick a sample, like maybe one of these silk ones. Rayon, polyester, and silk. Leave the backing on. Nothing like forgetting that I'm holding the iron. Maybe I could create something with a corner burnt off it. Leave the backing on. Now, it's not going to be even, of course, because here it's narrower and, you know, this is the widest part, but maybe that just serves to reinforce, and I shouldn't be wasting my time trying to get something off when in fact maybe it's a plus leaving it on. You know, I have to say maybe the iron works the best, because at least it's it's the area you're heating is as big as the sole plate on your iron. Whereas with the heat gun, yes, it'll warm up the glue, but it is a much smaller surface area. And if anyone out there in TV land has a solution that I haven't thought of or tried, then by all means let me know, because, you know, this is painful, to be honest. So I don't know how many minutes we're at here, but I think I'm going to unplug the iron and call this a video. Like I said, the next one will be me using like an intact one. Maybe that is the simplest solution of all. Now, just before I finish saying that, let's try something. Let's look at one that's really thick. Well, even this brocadey type one, that almost has more paper covering than not. I think these are going to be so darn cute because they kind of almost fit in your hand. Okay, so that's the plan. In the next video, I will pick some fabric, maybe one of these lighter weight ones and a heavier one, find some contrasting, coordinating fabric for the inside. I will probably zigzag around just to keep everything intact and kind of show you what the possibilities are. I do have pinking shears, so here or any of them, whether they came out from the staples or whether I hacked at them, and they might need trimming just from a size perspective as well. So I will do that. And again, if you have a bright idea of something that I should try, then by all means, let me know. Let's see if I can pull off one of these side pieces. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we will see you again tomorrow, and you know what it's going to be all about. Thanks. Bye.